The truth, well, the reality of the situation is that a lot of businesses are actually not taking advantage of government contracts for these three reasons. My name is Melinda Colón, and I'm a government contracting advisor, and I've helped my clients achieve over $4.4 billion with increasing their win rate of an average across our agency of 74%. And I wanted to share with you some things that a lot of people don't know about government contracting, which is a disservice if I didn't share this information right now. The reality of the situation is that there's a lot of opportunities, and I'm sure you already know that. If you've landed on this video, you more than likely have already started seeking out opportunities on sam.gov or FPDS or USA Spending. Like, this has happened. But you get overwhelmed when you start reading the RFP. And this is where I specialize in. I specialize in helping you understand what to respond to and how to respond it so that you win the opportunity and you increase your win rates. Now, am I saying that you're going to win every opportunity? Absolutely not. You're not going to win every contract. You're not going to win every single time, whether it's a continuing contract, a one-time project base. It's not reasonable. It's not realistic to win every single time. However, we have had clients win 7 out of 7 with us, or have increased their win rate from 34% to 67% in less than 18 months. But what this means truly is that there is a strategy with how to write your proposal and what to say in the proposal. And actually, it starts before you write it. And so at the end of this video, I'm going to share with you ways that you can write a proposal without actually writing it. So the first tip that I want to share with you out of the three is that you have to do your research. You have to do your homework. Instead of just like looking at an opportunity, like an RFP or request for bid, or an RFQ, or whatever the opportunity is listed. That's why I keep saying opportunity, because it could be anything. You want to know more about that client. Just like your existing clients now, you want to know more about them. So go to their website, look at their mission, see what they're saying in the market about what their initiatives are. Every fiscal year, it changes. You know, at the end of the calendar year, we in the United States here, we know that our government has a major conversation of changes, impacts to the world, etc. Now, whatever those decisions are at the end of the year or towards the beginning of the year, depending on if they need to have a government shutdown or not, is that there will be decisions that impact the next fiscal year for government contracting. So fiscal years for government contracts, or the government in general, in terms of their spending, starts on October 1st and it ends September 31st. So it starts in October, ends in September, and then they run that way. So there's an overlap when they're having those discussions in Congress, and just at the higher level where we see on C-SPAN and things like that in December, November, December. And that's not impacting the year after, it's impacting the fiscal year after. So it's the fiscal year that's going to be touched because the budget for our current fiscal year has already been agreed to. Now, why is this important? It's important because whatever the top has decided impacts and infiltrates every decision past that. So you might think to yourself, well, I don't provide those services. I'm not associated with what they're talking about in Congress. And I mean, the truth is you are. There is a domino effect, and you always want to follow the money. You always want to know where the money is coming from and where it's going. And if you're not paying attention to that, this tip alone will increase your win rates significantly. If you pay attention to this alone, this one thing, you will increase your win rates. How, Melinda? Well, you know what to say in your cover letter. You know that where you play or how you play a part in the bigger picture. And when you can do that, you can provide more value. You can unify your way of approaching a project a specific way. Your schedule will be specifically aligned to their schedule, etc. Like, just That's how it works. You want to like create a relationship with the government in the proposal, but you want to take it a step further and do your due diligence so you know what to talk about. You're not just responding and saying you're the best and this is why you should pick me. This is saying, I understand your problem and I am trying to help you solve it by being a partner in solving that problem. So think about it for you as a consumer. If you're out in the market and say you would prefer someone to approach you and act as if they actually cared about you, right? Like, what do you need? Oh, okay, let's see how I can help you versus, well, I'm the best and you should pick me to help you. It's like, I don't even want to think about that, right? So this is how you want to approach your proposal strategy, your responses, even your business development. So business development is like basically saying your relationships with those clients, those people that are your point of contacts, whether you're procurement officer, your COC, the decision makers. There are usually a panel of decision makers. So how you build those relationships impact what you say in the proposal and how you respond. And this is where you can leverage what you know to stand out from your competition. The second tip that I'll share with you is another easy one to apply. And this tip is about not just looking at things that are active, but looking at things that are closed. Okay, so when you go to these websites, FPDS, USA Spending, or SAM.gov, even your local procurement offices, like if you're in the city of, the town of, now these rules still apply. This specific step applies to both of them actually apply to international. So you can do government contracts in the US, anywhere in the US, and then you can do contracts internationally. So just kind of give you that tip. If you join me in my masterclass, I talk about that and give you kind of some advice on what you could do to really kind of build your confidence in doing contracts with international. Okay, so really just kind of step number 2. This is a simple one, super easy, but this is one that I often find that people miss. And it actually is documented when you look at the stats for government contracting. 37% of submittals, proposals, bids are thrown out because of this one thing. It's so silly. QC, quality control. You know, I know that as a proposal writer and a manager and obviously a business owner running an agency and have had experience leading teams and training people on government contracts, I know this for a fact. Y'all don't want to read your proposals. You like just hurry up and get it done. You send it out. You're like, I want to get this thing off my plate. This is the worst thing ever. It took me so long and forever. And what I'll say to that is that was an opportunity for you to improve. So 5 minutes versus, that could unlock 28, 50, 100, 200, even 300, 500, $1,000, or if you're a bigger player, it could be millions of dollars. Like, this is a no-brainer. 5 minutes, millions, you kind of have to weigh it out. But there are ways that you could actually kind of streamline this entire process using AI. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. When we look at the proposal, there's actually a specific way you want to read it, not cover to cover. That is not the way to read it. It's not read the cover, the next page, the next page, the next page. No, that would be chronological, and that's not the way to read an RFP. That is the way that it's explained. That's the way that they're trying to format it. But for a responder, you're going to want to know some things before you even start putting together your proposal. And it starts with the selection criteria, or the weighing points. Like, where are the points going to be allocated so that you understand what's important to them? Everything in the RFP is intentional. There is not one thing in the RFP that is not there for a reason. So if you're thinking to yourself, why do I see a sample contract? Well, it's probably because they had issues with awarding and then finding out that the company could not fulfill based off the contract. Or if they say their requirements for insurance, well, yes, there are requirements because there was a contractor or a situation that required them to get this information and they couldn't have it. There was an issue in this situation that required them to put this information in the RFP. And that's a good thing. See, this is a tip. This is a strategic tip because you always want to look at the outside perspective instead of thinking about it like, I'm just going to respond to this question. Why is this question even in here? Why are they asking this question in this way? And this will actually help you significantly understand how to respond. It's kind of like if you're talking to somebody and they're totally chill and they're calm and they're relaxed, and then, you ask them a question, they're like, yeah. And then, you ask them another question, they're like, yes, right? You're like, wait a minute. There's so much to read in that second response, right? So it's the same way in their questions because they ask questions in a specific way that it's not intentional for you to pick it up, but I know this from building relationships with them, is that it's intentional for it to be there. So if you understand why they have that information in there and you can speak to it in terms of that tone, it'll go much further in that building relationship perspective. And when you're looking at active and non-active opportunities, you're not going to want to just apply to those or submit proposals to those that are open. You're actually going to want to start to craft responses to those that are closed. This is a huge, huge tip because when you start thinking about, like, say, for example, there is an opportunity that's coming out in 2 months and you see it and it's closed, it's been awarded, but it's just about to end again. The term is about to end and there is an advertisement coming out. Well, that's a lot of information that I just gave you. So there's somebody, this is a recurring opportunity. There's someone who already has that contract. They have awarded this before. We can find out how much it was awarded for. We can look at the past proposal or the past bid. And we have plenty of time to prepare because we can look at the past RFP that was responded to. And this is how you do it. You compare the RFP to the proposal that was submitted and you go through it. Now, when it's open and advertised, now you can compare the old RFP to the new RFP and see if there's any differences. Sometimes there are very slight differences, especially for long-term continuing contracts. But that information is readily available, like right now, except for the new RFP. Everything else that I said is available. So that means that you could start thinking about, what is the strategy? Do I need to bring on a subcontractor? Or do I need to have a teaming partner? Should I set it up as a JV partnership? Do I want to just prime this, or should I connect with or become the middleman? There's just like so many different things. Can I take on a project currently right now for a private sector client, so existing client that's not in the government, and perform those services so that I can apply that to the RFP? There's so many different strategies, and this is how you win more. So these are things that people don't tell you, but I'm telling you because I'm the strategist. This is what I do. This is how I help people win more, is by taking and peeling back all of the paperwork and overwhelm and stress and making it turn to a puzzle that is easily solved with, like, positioning your cover of the box up so that you can use it as a play-by-play. Now, the third tip that I'm going to share with you kind of just dovetails into the big surprise I wanted to share with you in this video. So the third tip is about how much you put in the proposal. So you never want to skip steps, and you want to make sure that your business is positioned properly. Now, I'm going to look at it from 3 different perspectives in terms of your positioning. So how you are submitting, whether you're prime, subcontractor, or middleman. So prime, as a prime contractor, you are you're positioning yourself as the go-to and responsible for everything that happens on the contract. Regardless if you have subcontractors, it doesn't matter. Your name. So God forbid something happens, legally your company is responsible for everything in that contract. If there is bad luck, you're responsible. If there is great results, you're responsible. Like, no matter what, that is what prime means. It's priming, it's your connection, your direct connection, saying, I will get it done for you no matter who works on it. And I am 100% responsible for the outcome of the project. That is what it means. A lot of companies don't do this, especially as small businesses. You're getting your feet wet, starting. I recommend subcontracting because y'all, okay, so I hope you're taking notes because this is fun. All right, so there are a couple of ways that I'll give you two different subcontracting strategies in this video because I don't want it to be too long. The first subcontracting strategy that I'll share with you today is that you want to build relationships with people that already have the contract. So remember I said to you that you want to look at the closed opportunities. There are ways that you can reach out to connect with people that have won those contracts before or that have lost those contracts before. And I teach this in a different way called the 37 buyer types, but everybody's a buyer. So if you can help solve their problem, which is why did they lose, and increase their ability to win in the next time, then this is a no-brainer. Now, if you're a subcontractor, most of the time, I can't say always, but most of the time, it is 100% possible for you to become a subcontractor on every single prime that is responding to that opportunity. So if there's 4 primes and you're a subcontractor on all 4, what is your win rate? It's 100% because someone will have to get awarded, right? So that's one. And then the other thing is about subcontracting is this is a great way to start because you start to see the process. And even if you're a subcontractor, you can still own that contract. So say, for example, you're a subcontractor on this project, ABC contract, and you're like, oh, I want to get that 1, 2, 3 contract, but I'm a subcontractor and I want to be a prime on that one. No problem. When you're ready to prepare your response to that 1, 2, 3 contract, you can just list this and say, like, a subcontractor on this provided the scope of work and name the opportunity ID, everything on this 1, 2, 3 contract. So it's not that the prime is the only one that can use that experience. You can use that experience, which is so huge because you're seeing how the whole system works without taking any responsibility for the bigger project. You're only responsible for the scope of work that you're responsible for. And you see how the client, the government, actually requires you to have it so that you can prepare yourself for primes if you choose to, or other subcontracting opportunities. And 3, you know what the pricing structure is. You know how the communication process is. You know their systems. Like every agency has different ways of running because there's different people and they're located across the country here in the United States. Sidebar real quick. Government contracting isn't a play just for the US. It's in any governing country. So Canada, UK, Mexico, China. So these are other countries that you can do government contracting in. And if you live in those countries, you can do government contracting in them, as well as there's ways, there's rules, but caveats to actually doing government contracts here in the US. Okay, come back. So those are the 2 tips that I'd share with you for subcontracting. Now, the third one, I said middleman, but I'll share with you JV contracting because JV, joint ventures, are really profitable. And it's a great way to stack and also build long-term relationships. But I'm going to add a little, like a really, really big asterisk to this. Joint venturing is for people, for businesses that know each other, that you're like, I trust you. I know you. I know you'll do a great job. Because again, this is about reputation, and y'all, like, this is a small world in government world. The government world is a small world, and you want to make sure that no matter where you're positioned, prime, subcontractor, and especially JV, that you're partner with someone who is within the same integrity as you, who will deliver value as you, who is priced and similar as you, transparent as you, just like approaches work the same way as you, business develops the same way. Like, it's a whole thing, because it's kind of like a marriage for one project, one contract. So joint ventures are great because if you have something that is really, really powerful, like say you're really good at something and you know no one else is, right? And you know somebody else that is the best at, let's say, I'm going to say, I'll give you a real world example. So let's say the contract is for water bottles with straws. And you're like, I do a great job creating and manufacturing water bottles, but I am terrible at straws. I don't do straws. We don't do straws. We specialize in water bottles. And you know dudes that specialize in straws. They're like the best manufacturer in straws. And you call them up and you're like, hey, you want to do this, JV? And they're like, yeah, right? Like, kind of thing. And that's when you position. Now that opportunity is perfect for you because what they're asking for is water bottles with straws. Water bottles are you, straws are the other guy, and together you are solving the problem. And the client is getting the best of both worlds. That is the positioning. Now, if you're saying, oh, I'm going to do this, JV, just to get the opportunity, and you don't have a good track record, your team partner doesn't have a good track record, your subs suck, like, don't even think about going into JV, because you legally have to be a JV, like a joint venture. You legally have to go to an attorney, create an LLC. Like, this is not just, oh, we're going to be on paper. No, this is legally. Like, you have to be formed as a business for this specific opportunity. So it has to be worth it, right? But this is definitely a very lucrative opportunity, and it's a way to share subcontracting and share responsibility. And then also, of course, like stacking and building a relationship with the client in that specific subject matter or specialty that you have by getting in front of them. So these are the three ways that these are just the truth about government contracting that I wanted to share with you, because at the end of the day, beyond the proposal, which we'll talk about in a second, it's just strategy. It's all strategy. And that's why I'm the go-to strategist for government contracting. That's why my competitors hire me. That's why I am the go-to for, procurement officers to refer people to me, because I am that good. So the last thing, the surprise thing, is the proposal. How do you write proposal without writing it? Well, come to my masterclass, GovCon Millions Proposals, and see for yourself, because this is the opportunity of all opportunities, how you can get a done for you proposal for you, understand the strategy, and really just start winning government contracts and set yourself up for long-term success right now. Less than 30 days, like legit in less than 30 days. So I'm super excited for you for this opportunity. So click the link in the description to register your spot, secure your spot. This is a limited opportunity because in the next few months, we're going to be increasing the price. This is definitely something that you're not going to see anywhere else, but it is so bomb. I'm so excited for you. So this is going to be a done for you opportunity where we help you basically hands off write the proposal for you and create a master proposal template for you and teach you the strategy that has led to $4.4 billion of wins. And so that you have that in the back of your pocket and you're ready to sweep that out, submit with ease, and never have to worry about overwhelmed writing proposals for days, years, and months ever again. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one.